Hi House Beautiful, I'm Kemi Lawson and welcome to Cottage Noir. Cottage Noir is actually two cottages which we were told were built around 1760 and they've been converted into one family home. We inherited a book when we first moved in which told the story of the house all the way back to censuses included from 1760 of the baker. It was originally a baker's cottage. We have a little baker's oven part that hasn't been removed. And so it was really lovely to know we're part of this story. It's a listed cottage, so we can't change much. So we feel very much that we're kind of custodians. When we first moved in, I really saw the home as a complete blank canvas. You know, I'm not an artist, I can't sing or draw, but what I can do is bring in objects that I've collected throughout my years, be it photographs, paintings, books, textiles, and I just saw the house as a wonderful way to curate it and display it and enjoy all these items for me and my family to kind of grow up in. I very much felt the theme of this room was really about home. You're entering into my home, and I thought it was great to find this wallpaper which was all about homes. Now this is a very special wallpaper to me. It's actually designed in Haiti. And they've even got little people enjoying the gardens, and every time I look I see a different detail, and so I love that kind of home on home layering. I continue this home on home layering with these pictures here which are of cottages across the world and of houses, and this one's particularly special because it's actually Cottage Noir. It was here hanging when we moved in. One of the previous residents painted it, and will still be here when we leave and then pass it down to the next inhabitants. Very interesting living in a cottage. There's all sorts of little windows and nooks and alleys that you just don't get anymore. And this is an example here, which is a window kind of cut out between the hallway and the living room. I love it because it brings in light. Cottages can often be kind of dark places, so it's nice that you get a bit of entrance here, and I can spy and see what's happening in the garden. I dressed it here with a bench which, you know, hides, I don't know how many shoes are in here, but it's a bit like a Mary Poppins bag that it's got ever-ending amounts. And then I was able to have fun with textiles here. The bench was just a plain cream colour cushion. We covered that with a traditional Nigerian fabric called adire, which is our version of tie and dye. And I found these kind of earthy colours to match the mat. And then I'm always rotating. You can tell I think I love cushions. I'm always rotating. Currently in rotation are these two, which are by businesses, black-owned businesses in the UK. This is a company called Poodle and Blonde, two lovely ladies, and this is inspired by Windrush, which is obviously part of my Caribbean, Jamaican ancestry as well, so I love that. And this is by a company called Amechi, and it's about fabric inspired by northern Cameroon, people who have a lovely history of resistance there. The main thing I really wanted was a welcoming place, particularly when my kids are rushing in after school, and then they just want them to exhale and know that they're home. Welcome to my living room, or as we say in West Indies, my front room. Traditionally, the West Indian front room, children are not allowed, and kind of just parents and the pastor that comes over comes. But for me, I really wanted to kind of change that and have a front room where we did use as a family. Decorating this room, it overlooks the garden, so I really felt like I really wanted a kind of garden green theme. First place I looked at is the walls. Now, one of the interior designers I admire is Kit Kemp, and I saw in some of her hotels she uses a lot of this kind of texture on her walls, and I was like, what is that? What is that? So I kind of investigated and realized it's actually grass. It's grass cloth that's been dried and kind of applied, and I was like, oh wow, I have to have that. And what's lovely is, as I've researched more about the history of African homes, I realized using natural fibers to decorate your home has actually been done, you know, since time immemorial, whether it's mud or earth or oven bricks or whatever, you use it for your homes. One of the main centerpieces of the room is this here, which is called an Asafo flag, which was made by a wonderful artisan in Ghana. It's made by people who come from the coastal regions of Ghana, and you can see the influence of the British imperialism with that Ghanaian military tradition. So it's got the flag here, but then it also has the family tree, you can see here, and it's called the welcoming tree because the animals are all attracted to the fruit of the tree, and I love that because I want my home to be a welcoming home, and so it kind of brings that kind of energy. I love this piece. I picked it up in a flea market in Paris, which they're the best for kind of sourcing kind of original African artifacts. It's quite funny because I always say to people, oh, what do you think this is? What do you think this is? That comes in. It's one of my party tricks, and no one can ever guess. But it's actually a pillow. And it's used traditionally across a lot of Africa when you have all these beautiful ornate cornrow hairstyles. They hurt, especially on the first night. So they have this so you can kind of rest it here and not ruin your braids. And it's, my daughters get braids all the time, and I always say, do you want to take me to bring the pillow from downstairs? And they're like, no. But I love the way the kind of issues we have now kind of go on through the past as well. Another piece I'd like to show you, these two leopards here, which stand guard at the living room. And these are my Benin bronzes. Anyone familiar with kind of Nigerian heritage would be familiar with Benin bronzes and the beautiful workmanship in Benin over hundreds of years, and how a lot of the greatest pieces were stolen by the British. The British museums, which me and my daughters visit. So I love to have this bit of our culture here. And what's lovely is my daughter's school is also trying to kind of decolonize their curriculum and tell them more about Africa. And so she actually created her very own Benin bronze as part of a school project. So I love to keep them together, and you can see what a wonderful job my daughter did in recreating the Benin bronze. This is the dining room with the dining table where every evening me and my husband and our two little girls sit down to dissect the day. The plates we use are actually a great example of how I love to mesh the modern with the traditional. And it's a print called Dutch wax, which is very popular across West Africa, and the famous artist Yinka Shonneberry uses it a lot in his art. And I was so excited to find these plates because it's a way we can use that traditional fabric and aesthetic, which is bold and bright and joyful, because everything kind of is intentional. Even the circular dining table, I love that aspect because it shows there's no head of the table. All of our views are equal here. I think that's kind of a nice modern way of living. The vibe I want for my dining room is an art gallery, a kind of work in progress, because you know nothing's ever finished. But one of the big pieces that kind of set me in store for that is this piece over here, which is actually a scarf. I bought it on the high street, the shop Bimba Lola, and I wore it a few times, but I felt like I love this scarf so much, and it's just in my cupboard all the time. And so I had the idea to frame it up, and it's just come to life and really brought a great spirit into the room. It's a black woman with a really cool buba and iro and some sunglasses, and again it's that 1970s spirit of photography studio, people wearing their best to get photographed and memorialized, and so really happy to have that here. Now this lady's special because she kind of set it all up for me. When I found her on, was it eBay, I was just so excited that I put it on Instagram, and from there the Cottage Noir Instagram kind of blew up, and I was just so excited to see her because A, she's gorgeous, B, I love the fact that she's a flower pot as well. She had these amazing cornrows and the style I was probably wearing at the time. And I love to personalize my artworks, and so I love the fact she had little holes for earrings. And so today, in honor of this shoot, I've put her in some of her favorite cowrie shell drop earrings. This is my youngest daughter's bedroom. She's 10 years old. It's the smallest room in the house. And when we got it, we were like, oh my gosh, how are we going to fit a bed in here? But there was this little nook, and we measured it up, and it was actually the same size as a single bed. So we've created a bed out of it, custom made it, so it precisely fits this dimension. I had fun with it. I really wanted it to be like a bit of a princess bed. So we got these curtains made, and she can open and close it. And then we dressed the bed inside with a mural. Now I was really happy to see this mural. It's lots of mattresses, and of course it's the story of Princess and the Pea. And so I just hope it gives you the princessy energy in this room. She loves her cushions. I've taken away half of them so that I could actually show you the mural. But one that I've kept is this one here, which is a mermaid cushion. We actually sell them in the Cornrow. They're really popular. We love the story of mermaids and claiming it for, we have a mermaid culture as well in Yoruba history. And so it's lovely to have that here. So when it came to decorating for the girls, when we moved in, I didn't give them many decisions, but what I did let them choose, what colour would you like your bedroom walls to be? So she chose grey, and I found a lovely grey wallpaper from Designer's Guild, which reminded me of adire, the fabric I talked about downstairs on my hallway bench, which is our tie and dye. So for me, this looked like a grey kind of tie and dye traditional fabric, even though I found it in the British in Designer's Guild. So I loved it, and she went for grey. My other daughter has it in purple, and it just gives a lovely kind of dreamy landscape for the room. And over on this side we have the fireplace. I wanted to have some fun with this fireplace, so I painted it a colour to kind of contrast to the grey walls, and we found some glitter paint which we put on as well, so it's really nice. At night time it kind of sparkles with the glitter. Up on top, one of the things I love the most are these Russian dolls. I remember thinking about Russian dolls when I was younger, and like you can see Russian dolls of animals, of birds, of people, but never any black people. So we custom made these, and we also sell them on the Cornrows. So this is our bedroom, and as you can see, it's blue upon blue upon blue in different shades, and this was very intentional. As opposed to outside when I wanted it yellow and bright and energized, I really wanted our bedroom to be somewhere a place of calm, peace, serenity, and to chill. So the first thing with the blue was this wallpaper mural, which is clouds, which was terribly hard to hang because it all has to be exactly right for the clouds, and obviously clouds are hard to kind of judge, but we got there in the end, and I think it just makes a really lovely feeling of kind of floating in the clouds. Again, this is from Designer's Guild, and I was really excited to find a cloud light in IKEA of all places, which actually really helps in terms of looking at the cloud aesthetic. The themes of blue continue to the headboard, and I love it. It's a designer friend of mine called Eva Shanaike, and she does a lot of kind of African influenced modern design, and it's a symbol, a very traditional symbol of eternity. And given me and my husband in this room, we want to have, I think it's a great symbol of marriage. Over on this side we have the fireplace, and continuing on the theme of love and marriage and eternity, I've got one of my most precious pieces here, which is actually a marriage proposal. So in traditional Nigerian weddings, when you get married, the husband's family or husband-to-be's family must present the bride-to-be's family with a letter explaining why they would like to take their daughter as a bride and how they're going to be such a lovely new family for them. And so this is the letter that was presented to my family, and it was handwritten on a beautiful ashoke, which is kind of like a African silk cloth, and I just thought it was too special to put in a drawer, so I had it framed and hung here in our bedroom. I've really enjoyed showing you around my home, Cottage Noir, and I hope you found some inspiration or ideas of how to decorate your home using your heritage as the inspiration. Thank you so much for watching.